Hello, friends. Thank you for tuning in. I have an awesome episode for you this week. Before I introduce the guest, as always, let me run a few things by you. Firstly, please follow, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It helps. You already know the spiel, but I'm going to say it again. It helps grow the audience and ultimately grow the podcast and get the best guests for you. So please do that. Additionally, please go follow me on social media, ROYBTZ on Instagram and ROY_BNTZ on Twitter. On Twitter, you can subscribe to my newsletter. That gives you access to updates, occasional blog posts, news about the guest, future of the show, and most importantly, it's just a very easy way for you to get podcast into your email inbox every single week. Finally, please consider supporting this independent podcast. Currently, I do not work with any big advertisers. I do not plan on doing so in the near future. So if you feel like you get value from this podcast, if you love the show, please consider supporting it. I really appreciate you guys. And finally, if you want to start your own podcast, I have a full tutorial that covers everything you need to know, soup to nuts on how to start, grow, execute, market, reach out to guests, everything you want to know about starting a podcast, growing a podcast. It's all in there, very conveniently, very user-friendly, and just easy to follow. So if you want, go check that out. I have a link in the show notes. It's on Gumroad. And let's move on to the guest. This week, I have Jose Rosado. Jose's awesome. I had such a fun time doing the podcast with him. His main area of focus is essentially helping people make income online. And he's got courses, eBooks, he's got one-on-one coaching sessions. He does that on Twitter and other social media platforms. And he's just really, really good at what he does, especially considering that English is not his first language. Yeah, he absolutely kills it. The amount of gems and insights that are on this podcast. And what I love about him is he shoots straight. Like, he keeps it honest. He doesn't try to sell you things just for the sake of selling. He really tells it like it is, the way he sees it, which is something I really appreciate, because there's a lot of people out there just trying to sell you stuff, even when it sometimes goes against your own self-interest. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to grow a community, if you want to learn how to grow on Twitter, if you want to learn how to start from scratch when you start on Twitter, or even, for that matter of fact, even other social media platforms. Definitely check this podcast out. Filled with gems, as I already said. So let's jump right into it. Let me introduce this week's guest, Jose Rosado. Enjoy the episode, everyone.
The Genuinely Interested Podcast.
Hey, Jose, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Thank you so much for inviting me. And, it's a pleasure to meet you, Roy. I'm really excited to have this chat with you. So let's get started.
All right, let's do it, man. I love your energy. I love it. All right, so for people who may not know you, maybe a little bit of an introduction. Just give it a little brief introduction.
Where I live, where people vacation. I live in a tiny island in the middle of the Caribbean, where it's always summer and the breeze is always caressing your face with warmth and happiness. It's the Dominican Republic. Yeah. It's a beautiful paradise, and except when you're like in the slums, but that's like everywhere, right? But DR, man, I always tell my wife that this is the place where I want to live and the place that I want to die, because it's where I have my family. Although I don't run my business here, right? Like, I do run my business from the Dominican Republic, but all of my business is outside. Mm-hmm. Still, like, I don't have any kind of impediment from running my business, my online business from DR. And it has never, ever in my life prevented me from making any kind of deal with people outside, which is something that I would love to talk about, because I feel like a lot of foreigners feel like, if I don't live in like a place where people speak English, I would not be able to close a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 deal with someone outside because, I don't know, mental block, mental mindset, bad, I don't know, man.
I think COVID changed that, though. I think maybe pre-COVID, that was I have to stay in New York. I have to pay this premium on the rent. I have to tip everywhere I go. I have to pay all this exorbitant amount of money on everything. And then I'm getting paid, not great, but I have the potential of going up the chain, up the ladder, and getting to eventually where I want to be. Where now, post or not post maybe COVID, but like after COVID started, people are like, oh, I can live in Alabama, I can live in Colorado, I can live in Dominican Republic, and it's actually much better because I'm paying a quarter of what I used to pay, and I can get the same job.
I agree. This thing actually accelerated a lot of things here in the R. For example, before the virus struck the world, we didn't even have like supermarket apps where you could just, hey, supermarket, send me my food. We didn't have that here. But since the supermarkets saw themselves, okay, my sales are going down. We have the internet. Some people can actually work despite what's happening. They developed a bunch of apps for the supermarket, and now I can do all of my groceries shopping from the app. Mm-hmm. So it took a stupid pandemic for these supermarkets to actually understand the power of the internet and how much more money people can make if they use the internet right. I want to talk about that, bro. Because that's my specialty.
It is. And I think everyone kind of realized, okay, we have to, if we want to stay in the game, we have to accelerate our technology. We have to allow apps. We have to allow deliveries. We have to communicate between people sitting on the other side of the world with the best interface and technology possible. So everyone accelerated and upped their technology game because that's what the times demanded. That's what consumers were demanding. And if you're not going to do it, you're going to be left behind, essentially.
Absolutely. And when people talk about technology, they're always afraid, super afraid, because they fear they're going to be investing thousands of dollars in technology. But check this out. Zoom, free. Yeah. WhatsApp, free. Facebook, free. Instagram, social media, free, technically, right? All of that is totally free. Google Documents, free. Dude, I have friends who, man, make hundreds of thousands of dollars selling things from a Google document. Literally, his landing pages, which is just like a page where people sell stuff, it's a Google document. He always tells me, like, I'm just lazy. So I don't want to be the sign up pretty landing page. So I just put all of the things that I want to sell in a freaking Google document. Yeah. And he sells his stuff from a Google document. That's so wild. Sometimes we overcomplicate what online business is and how to actually make an income online or how to increase your income online as an expert in topic, whatever expertise you have, you can always find a way to monetize it or to build something that can eventually help you become an authority in what you do. Someone that people will say, hey, I will follow Jose, or I will follow Roy, or hey, check this out, check this guy out. He has something that is of value for me. Let me book a call with that person. Let me book a consultation call with that person. Let me invite that person to a podcast. You're inviting me to this podcast because I had the incredible idea of posting something on Twitter or posting something on Instagram, and you somehow found me because I had the amazing idea of posting content, which is today in age, there are still people that don't understand how powerful content is. I always like telling this little thing about content. Every little piece of content that you post, it's a security deposit for your future. Why? Because everything that you post is a marketing asset that will outlast you. That's meant to sell your ideas, your values, your services, your coaching, your products, or whatever you want to sell. Sometimes it's just recommending someone a movie. Sometimes it's just recommending someone a book. That's actually selling, right? You're persuading someone to take action upon your recommendation. That is sales. Buy this stuff because I feel it can help you with this or that. That's sales. And online is so much faster, dude. You send an email, you post a tweet, you post an Instagram story or an Instagram post or silly dancing reel and doing funny faces. People see that, you get attention, they click on your face, they laugh, they enjoy, they get entertained, they learn something. Then they click the link in your bio. Oh shit, this guy sells coaching on how to do all of this stuff. Oh wow, this guy sells whatever. And then they buy. That's the process in a nutshell. Of course, I'm oversimplifying it. But dude, it's so much more faster when you do it online.
But I think you undersell or value yourself when you say that because you do have a certain exuberance and the way you talk and your confidence and the way you have ideas that you put forth. No, seriously, that's why people follow you, right? You have what, like 80,000. There's a reason.
Twitter,
it's not just
20, yeah.
on Twitter,
Let
right?
me tell you about
no.
that.
So one second. I'm just and the reason I bring this up, and this is probably what you're going to say, and this is the segue that I want to lead into, is you shouldn't be able to do all that because, as I've heard you say on other podcasts, like English isn't your first language. You weren't even speaking it clearly a few years ago. So I would love
I just wasn't at this level. And yes, I was somewhat proficient.
Okay.
But writing it is where, like, I had never written a lot of things in English. What I've written sometimes is like, someone tells me like, hey, is this like, translate this for me.
Sure.
I translated maybe, but that's it. Maybe in all of my career, when I was employed back in 2018 and 10 years before that, I maybe wrote in total 3,000 to 4,000 words in English. Wow. Maybe. Now, dude, I write 1,000 words in a day. Yeah. So, in English.
Yeah.
So I would.
So that's a story. That's the story that I would like you to tell people, that you essentially. And I've heard this. I've heard you tell the story on other podcasts, but I want my listeners to know it, because you turned tragedy into triumph. Something happened, and then you turned that, and then again, like, you had another hurdle to overcome because of language thing. So I would love for you to tell that story.
Let me tell you the story of how I made my first $100,000 using Google Translate. This is not even hyperbole, dude. let me fill you in. So in 2018, I was desperate for money, like desperate to the level that I was feeling anxiety, not only like mentally, but also physically. Yeah. A twitch in the eye, burning sensation on my chest, weird movements on my hands. To that point, I remember one time I almost blacked out, and I had to tell a friend, hey, dude, take me to my home. I feel like I'm going to die. I'm like dizzy, whatever. He drove me home in my car, and I'm just like, dude, I'm sorry. If you want to take my car, go back, but whatever, I can't. I went and like slept for hours. Mm-hmm. To that level, man. That was the level of anxiety I was experiencing because I was broke. So due to this situation I was experiencing of pure desperation, I said to myself, I need to fix this thing right away. What I didn't know is that there's no quick way to make money. There are faster ways to make money, but there's no quick there's nothing that can make you money quickly. There's things that can make you money faster. One of those things that I discovered was post stuff online. And I already knew about it, and I had tried to do it in Spanish. But thankfully, I found a bunch of influencers and business owners posting interesting ideas on Twitter. And more importantly, selling stuff on Twitter back in 2018. So I said, I want that. Mm-hmm. So in June of 2018, I started posting 5 tweets a day. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. Dominican time, AST, and I wrote for a few minutes, 4 or 5 tweets a day. I sometimes stole a few minutes from my employer, but the great thing is that they never cared because they only care about delivering on your promises. So I had that going for me. I always loved all of the jobs that I've worked for. Anyhow, dude, post 5 tweets a day. What happened? People started following me, despite the fact that, and I didn't reveal this, I was writing everything in Spanish and using Google Translate to translate the freaking tweets. People were following me.
That's awesome.
Because they enjoyed the Google translated text. But one of the biggest thing is that it was all in my mind. Sometimes when I created the thing in Spanish and then Google translated it, it was literally the same thing I was saying inside my head in English. So there's a lot of mental hurdles when you don't speak a language. And that was one of them, like a lot of self-doubt. So, dude, people started following me because of the Google translated text. And what happened next blew my mind. One day in October, October 30 something, I said to myself, I need to make money. I'm desperate. I've been posting for months now and I need to make freaking money. That day I said, for the first time ever, hey, the next 4 or 5 people who need a Twitter header, you know, the little thing that you see in every that thing. The next 5 people will get a Twitter header for $35. That's it. I got a bunch of DMs, and that was the first time in my life where I had made $100 in a day. That's it. I had like 4,000 followers by then. That changed my life because I got to experience for the first time what is it to be paid by my followers, because they needed something of value from me. Design work. After a while, I just started creating websites because I'm also a web designer. Then I began selling courses on web design, selling courses on a bunch of stuff. And now I'm mostly in a process where I'm growing my agency, where what I do is actually just what I did for myself: launch stuff, launch products, help people launch their coaching, launch their services, and launch their digital products, which is, I call it the service hyper scale and hyper growth. Two different services that I offer. One for bigger influencers to help them make a bunch of money. It's actually like my promise is I'm going to make you $50,000 or there's a guarantee. That's for the client to know. And the other one is I help people who already have some kind of engaged audience start making between $300 to $500 a month on autopilot, by the way, because that's what I've developed for my own business. So why not sell it as a service too? It's much easier to scale in some way or another because I can delegate all of that, which is what I do also. I delegate all of that stuff. So it's a nice place to be, dude. And it's all because I decided out of pure desperation on June of 2018 to post 5 tweets a day. That's the backstory, friend.
Well, I can definitely relate as far as the eye twitches and the nervous, like being an entrepreneur. And that's why I don't necessarily think it's for everyone. If you want to pursue it, know the risks. But for some people, a 9 to 5 is completely fine. But, there are a lot of sleepless nights, worrying, not bringing in the money. There's definitely a lot of uncertainty when you go independent and you bank on yourself that you can make it. And I think for you, what I like is you, at least what I'm seeing on Twitter, is you go against air quotes conventional wisdom. Whereas on Twitter, I see a lot of creators stick to their niche, right? They'll do either D2C or STRs or NFTs or newsletter or whatever it is, but they don't inject themselves like personality wise into their feed, into their tweets. It's just, I'm giving you value all the time and I'm giving you advice. For you, you inject yourself. And I think that conveys an authenticity that maybe the others lack. And I'm just wondering, is that something you just decided or is just organically something that happened?
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it, Roy. And it was purely organic.
Okay.
Purely organic. But I advise against that when you're starting out.
Okay.
I totally advise.
And why do you say that?
So it's really, 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 really hard to grow a social media following by being yourself. Why? Because nobody gives a flying crap about who you are unless you're like, I don't know, man, Johnny Depp, who's struggling at the moment, right? Nobody gives a
not the best time for Johnny
of who you are because you haven't proven your worth. You have not shown people what you can do for them. You're not Elon Musk. You're not a billionaire. You're not a millionaire. And if you're a millionaire, that's social proof, of course, but nobody cares. Yeah. So at first, I would say, stick to your main specialities. And when I say specialities, is what are you good at? You're usually really, really good at 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 things. You're really competent at that. Stick to one of these things that you are competent at and build your brand around that. Once you get to 10, 20,000 followers, which is like the tipping point where just things start happening and people start saying, okay, this guy is important to some extent, then you can start injecting a little bit more personality, a little bit more about your other specialities, a little bit more about your opinions about things. Because before that, you're just in Twitter, let's say, you're just one of these Twitter eggs that nobody cares about. A new account, meh, who cares? Everyone says on Twitter that they're a billionaire, millionaire, playboy, that it has a million, just pure money, like cash. So nobody believes you. So you need to prove that what you're saying is the reality. You do that by focusing on one specialty of yours, by teaching people how to do what you do. That's what we call it's teaching, right? It's just teaching. showing people how to do what you do. We also have the other thing, it's like entertain. How can you entertain people with your stuff? Maybe a joke or a meme about your industry. There's also inspiration. What can you say to people in that industry that uses your specialty to inspire them to increase their income, to send a direct message, to get healthier, to whatever, man? The trick is to tie everything you want to post to that core speciality that you want people to know you for. That's why I advise against being yourself online or showcasing your opinions too early. Nobody cares until you get to 10, 20,000 followers, and then people start actually caring.
I love that, because like here in America, there's like that saying, like, just be yourself, just be yourself. It's like, no, don't be yourself.
Don't be yourself. Like, if I were myself, do you want to see my true self, which is something I wanted to tell you, that you said like exuberant? That's not me. This is my podcast, Jose, and that's something I've learned, through public speaking, but my real self is more like this. I'm more relaxed. This is how I usually speak when I'm speaking with a friend. Slower, more paused, lower tone. This is how I sell too, because it conveys more authority, but it's not entertaining. So my podcast, I talk louder and more hand movements, more smile face, because I have a nice smile, right? But it's all part of the show. And it's not that it's not me. It's one part of who I am, because we're like multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
So here I let myself be a little bit more enthusiastic, a little bit more exciting, but it drains me. I can tell you, after we end the podcast, I'll go to bed and like die.
Dude, I'm the same. After a podcast, and especially sometimes I'll do long ones. Like I've had, 2.5. I think I may have had one of 3 hours. I am drained.
Yeah.
You're on the whole time. And after you're just like, woo, like I don't go to sleep necessarily, but I definitely need like a half hour. I'm just like, okay, I need to just relax for a minute.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Are you like an introverted person? Because I consider myself introverted. I prefer to be alone. I prefer to be here in my man cave. I don't like going to groups. When my wife tells me, hey, Jose, we're going to go to whatever party, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. But it's like, I don't want to, because I prefer to be alone. But the reality is that I've thankfully, really early on in my career, I realized that loners are losers. That big.
I love that.
The sorrow. He's just like the solo. The solo. What the hell is the solo hero? Okay. That's fake. The lone wolf. That's the loser, bro. That's not real. In real life, there are no lone wolves. Those are the losers that end up shooting people, So for anyone that's preaching, be the lone wolf, I won't curse, but
curse. It's
I would love to curse. I would love to curse you out, because that's bad advice.
Yeah.
Because we need other people in order to survive. We need other people in order to make more money. We need more people to feel better, not only about what we do, but about ourselves too. Like I have my kids, two kids, Javier and Juan Diego. And these two little boogers, I just love them. Despite my hate for general people. Yeah. I love these little boys, and they bring joy to my life. If I were a lone wolf, I wouldn't have these two kids with my wife, Brenda. It's stupid to think that you are going to make it by yourself. You will sometimes need to hire someone. You will sometimes need to help from someone else. And trying to do things everything by yourself is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
I tried that. I tried being the lone wolf for a long time. And then I realized I don't have enough time to do everything. Now I have 4 people that help me out with 5 people that help me out with everything I do. The graphic designer, the copywriter, the spell checker, the person that handles the client and the making the client happy. Sure. And whenever I have something that they don't know how to do, I hire someone else.
Yeah.
The people that clean my house. Screw the lone wolf.
Yeah.
It's bad advice. Fuck that, people. So
lone wolves eventually become the Unabomber. It's like,
yeah, dude, that's so stupid. It's so
and
stupid.
we're social creatures, and we're mimetic creatures. We copy by seeing. And
yeah,
I think this is also a great segue. It's something I wanted to bring up is building a community. It's one of those buzzwords that we keep, hearing. And however you feel about all these buzzwords that get thrown around, regardless, I think if you're building a company or even if you're an independent, right, like yourself or like I am, is, in your opinion, is building a community, or at least, I mean, maybe not a community, if I can word it differently, a loyal, engaged following. Is that something that everyone should dedicate some time of their day to, in your opinion?
Let's take away the loyal following.
Okay.
I just had a chat before hopping on this call with a guy I met on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He has great engagement. He makes good money on Instagram, almost $1 million in sales in Instagram. And he told me something that I believe there's some truth behind that. These are his words. He told me, like, dude, if you stop posting for 2-3 weeks, nobody remembers you. They forget about who you are. And in most cases, that's true. In most cases. So the way you can make yourself somehow irreplaceable is by helping people like crazy, man. Just providing so much value. And value means entertaining them, educating them, inspiring them. That is what value is. You help them go from point A to point B. You are the person that helps them transform and flourish and fly when everyone else is just like a tiny ant walking on towards something that will kill them, or a kid, like, with the thumb just squishing them. So, I'm not quite sure how to reply to the engaged audience or the audience that it's just like they're loyal. I'm not sure how to reply to that.
Yeah. Maybe not loyal.
I have experienced that. I know people that I know for a fact, people that buy everything that I post. Like, I search for the email, it's like 10 purchases. And that's a loyal buyer, right? A loyal person. But I know for a fact that the day I say or do something that goes against their own self-interest, bam, adios, Jose. Fuck off, I don't need you anymore. So the way to overcome that is to actually keep providing value. It's to stay consistent in regards to showing people how to do what you do. And that takes a toll after a while. That's why I tell you, after you get 10 to 20,000 followers, start being a little bit more yourself, so that burnout takes more time to come into your life. Because most of the time, you see, for example, you see it a lot on YouTube, is I burnt out. I stopped posting on YouTube. One of the main reasons is because these people are playing a character. And playing a character takes a toll. Yeah. They have to go to, imagine me right now. I'm playing a character. I'm playing Jose the podcaster. I cannot sustain this for a long time. This voice, this attitude, these movements, I cannot do that for a long time. So if I try to do it for a month, 3 years, I'm going to go crazy, because this is not who I am. Yeah. So when you go against who you are and you create a character and you build a community around your character, which I don't suggest you do, you're going to screw yourself up. So build 10, 20,000 followers and then start showing more your personality. If you have to talk a little bit slower because that's how you really are, that's how you really interact with other people. If you are more laid back, start showing that personality online, because that way you'll avoid the burnout and you'll avoid feeling like a fraud, and you'll avoid feeling all of these, oh man, this is too hard. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to post. It's too complicated. I don't know. I'm going to kill myself. You're going to avoid all of that.
Yeah. As you
after you get to 10 or 20,000 followers, after that, before that, grind, man, because there's no other way.
As you were talking, I was thinking, I wonder if that's why celebrities kind of not fade, but have the breakdown that many of them do, or go to, because it technically
that,
right? Because they have to play this character, they have to put on a facade, a face all the time that is not theirs necessarily, And eventually they just get like carried away with that character that they're portraying. And that takes its toll eventually.
Dude,
right?
Imagine getting approached every freaking day. Hey, Roy, give me an autograph. And you have to force a smile and say, sure, here's your autograph. Thank you so much. I love you. I couldn't do that. And I know I can't do that because I used to play the bass guitar in a band here in Dominican Republic. And people ask me from time to time, like for an autograph. And I hated that shit. Like I had to put a big smile and sure. But I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy my privacy. That's not for everyone. Whenever I hear people say, I want to be famous. No. You want the benefits of being famous, but you don't want to be famous. You don't want people harassing you, taking photos of you when you're taking a vacation. You don't want people posting your worst moments in life online. You don't want that. And that's the price of fame. That's the real cost of fame. So what you really want are the benefits of fame: money, access to inner circles, access to places that only someone with certain connections can get. So learn how to differentiate what you want. You don't want fame, you want the benefits. How do you get the benefits? Making money. Making a lot of money will open up so many doors that I cannot even, like, there's some mini doors that I still cannot even open because I don't have that much money. Eventually, maybe, who knows? Maybe. But focus on the things that actually generate you money and generate you money in a way that's authentic to you and that makes you feel like you're doing some good to the world. Unless you're one of these chronic capitalistic people, that's another way. If you want to do it like that, that's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's why I hate so much the rhetoric of people that say money is the root of evil. No. The love of money is the root of evil.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with money, but I love what I can do with money. That's why I fucking try to make money every freaking day, because I want to give my family a better lifestyle. I want to provide more freedom to my family and to myself to make me feel good. I remember a speech of Tony Robbins, and he simplifies a lot of things that happen in the human nature. And he said, humans just want two things. They want more pleasure and they want to reduce pain. And that's a lot of truth behind that. Yeah. We want more pleasure. We want to reduce pain. This is the perfect, summarization of what the human experience is. We run towards pleasure and we run away from pain. What's pain? Anxiety. I'm constantly running away from anxiety. I hate anxiety, and I've experienced anxiety for the last 10 years. Why? I have sometimes diet-related, sometimes things don't pan out, but I run away from that. Why? Because I don't want to experience it. Then I run towards pleasure. How? Making money, so I can go to the beach with my family, so I can take them to different trips, so I can buy the best education for my kids, which I am. Well, at least here in the Dominican Republic. So once you understand these simple concepts of human nature, which are very simple when you think about them, you'll be able to provide more value to people. You'll be able to be of more service, because now by knowing what people actually want and crave and desire, you'll be able to provide them a solution to either increase their pleasure or reduce their pain. Two very different things. But at the end of the day, is to give people a path to attain their dreams or destroy their fears. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's why so many people, and now you see these things are becoming much more popular, like the, like Spartan races, or like really tough, like Tough Mudders, or mountaineering, whatever it is, like activities that really are hard, because as society, we become so soft and, for the most part, at least in the West, and things are
running
easy.
Towards self-actualization. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah. You want a challenge. You want something like, oh, wow, I really conquered this. Yeah. Like, who says this? David Goggins, my inner bitch, right? Like I conquered this today and I feel better about myself. So I think, yeah, it is true. Like, I think because we've been trying to reduce pain for so long, it's like, well, a little bit of pain or a little bit of struggle is actually good for us in the overall.
It's really good.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, think about this. Whenever you are ill, what do doctors tell you to do? Well, first, rest a little bit more, right? And then eat healthier, drink less alcohol, drink more water. And for a lot of people, especially in today's modern soft society, eating less food, drinking less alcohol, drinking more water, substituting their junk food for like natural food, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them, man. Like every day you're being slapped in the face with an ad that tells you, hey, get this Whopper for $1, or get this like life-changing, tongue-altering new food that we just invented. Dude, like, I'm a marketer. I see that and I still get influenced, despite the fact that I know what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
So it's not that I cannot blame them, but I cannot put all the blame on them. Like, I don't like blaming, okay, it's all their fault. No, what's happening in their environment. And it influences people in a way. That's why I always, from living here in the Dominican Republic has shown me like what real poverty is. What real poverty is. You know what real poverty is? You don't have enough food, so you eat the fucking plantain. The cover of the plantain. What's the name of that?
Not sure.
You peel a banana. What's the name of that? The peel.
The peel. It's called peel.
Yeah, you eat the peel of the plantain.
Yeah,
that's what poverty is. Some of my childhood friends had to eat the freaking peel of a plantain. Like, that's fucking poverty,
Yeah.
But why are they poor? Is it because they don't work? No, these people have really, like, they work, but their environment, they were born and raised in a place where everyone says you are born poor, you're going to stay poor for all your life. That influences you in ways that I don't know if even science can explain it. So I never like blaming people for everything that happens to them. Look at myself. I come from a great family. I love my parents. They're not perfect, but they're the most perfect parents I know.
Yeah.
From the side of my family, my wife, same shit. I love my father-in-law and my mom-in-law. Who could have predicted that I would have such a blessing of having a great family, mom and dad, plus great parents-in-law?
Yeah.
I got lucky. And some people just, that happens, But you can create your own luck by posting content online. Start posting content online, and you'll see how lucky you'll get. Dude, I started with 5 tweets. 5 tweets a day became a multi-million-dollar business, dude. So
that's what I want to talk about. You post everywhere. You have content everywhere. You're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, you're on TikTok. Am I missing something? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe.
I'm mostly on Twitter, and what I do is repost tweets on Instagram. I read some of these things out loud and record myself like a reel.
Yeah.
And YouTube is just, at the moment, it's an experiment because YouTube is so hard, bro.
It is.
Like, okay, I have to record everything. I have to show my face. Then I have to send that to my editor. But then there's the little back and forth of, I don't like this, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Horrible. I don't know how people make a full-time income on YouTube. It's their full-time job, right? I don't.
Some do. I've talked to people that do very, very well on YouTube, and it's a grind. It's
full-time job.
It is a full-time job, 100%, but it's also a grind, and it's like, it's unlikely. As you said, like, a lot of people, they go for the overnight success. And sometimes it's a 7-year process of overnight success, Yeah. It's like, yes, this just happened overnight over the course of 7 years that I got to where I am. But I'm just wondering, like, what is the breakdown roughly? I'm assuming majority of the people that reach out to you for one-on-one coaching or buy your products come from Twitter, right?
Yes, come from Twitter and from my email list. So my advice is tweet a lot and tell people, hey, join my email list. That's the number one way to generate income, with the email list. Mm-hmm. Twitter, it's secondary when you think about it in terms of generating income. But the email list, dude, like, think about this process. You write 200, 300 words. you hit the send button. Someone else in a region that you don't even know exists clicks that email, reads it, and they say, I like this. Let me click the link that this guy put in this email and let me buy his shit. He goes through that process. He opens the sales page. He reads through that. He fetches his credit card from his wallet. He types that down manually. He hits enter. Sometimes the credit card says, no, bad. And then they try again and they buy your shit. Think about that process and the complexity behind that. And everything has been simplified to just hitting a send button on ConvertKit, which is the email platform that I use.
Yeah.
Think about that, dude. Like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have that, bro. When I was in college, let's say college, when I was 20, we had email, of course. We had Messenger. We didn't have Telegram, none of that shit. We had High Five. Now we have Facebook and all of this stuff. Dude,
we had ICQ.
So ICQ or IRC. Remember IRC?
Yeah.
The chat and dude, like we had Napster. We had 2 kilobytes per second download. To download a fucking sound, it was like 10 hours to download one song. Today, one click and you can listen to the thing on Spotify. Dude, it's 10 times easier today to make an honest living online. And not even online, I'm talking even in the general scope of reality of the human experience. It's much easier. You don't have internet? You will surely have a smartphone. I've seen a lot of people on the streets that are begging with a fucking smartphone on their hands, dude. It's impressive.
It is.
You go to a Starbucks and you have free internet there, right?
Yeah.
If they don't let you in, you put yourself to a side and you steal their internet. So it's crazy, dude, what you could do with a freaking smartphone and with some ideas. I love these. Well, I don't love these stories about the guy that went from homeless to making money. I enjoy that. I just don't love the part that they were homeless.
Obviously,
but the success story, I love that.
Yeah.
But you've seen it all the time. Like this guy went from homeless to making $100,000 online or whatever. That shit excites me, dude, because you could imagine that shit happening 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Today, it can happen with much more ease because of this little tiny device that almost everyone has now. Because, dude, I don't know, man.
Why do you think
want to buy shit?
Why do you think? Because people, there's people on TikTok that are making a shit ton of money, and there's some people on Instagram and they create a great following there, and some people, like we said, on YouTube. Why do you think Twitter complemented your skill set so nicely?
So you see this Latino face, beautiful face, beautiful Latino face that you're seeing right now.
Yes.
If you take up the beard, it's not like a downgrade, dude. So
dude, I'm just saying, my wife once I shaved and she screamed at me. She almost kicked me out the house for shaving once. So I understand. I feel your pain.
So my wife told me, like, when I got the beard, like, I don't like how it feels because it's like itchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I like how it looks on you. So it's not that I'm like super handsome. Some people say I am. I don't consider myself handsome. I just consider I'm smart. So that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say this, since I didn't like showing my face to what you're seeing, I said to myself, I like writing. So let me start writing. And Twitter was the easy platform because it's just, back then it was like 180 characters. Short. The shorter, the better.
Yeah.
So it gave me the opportunity to write really short stuff on complete ideas and still get followers. Deal, bro. Let's go. So due to that, I decided to start on Twitter. And if you love writing, you love that more than showing your face or recording yourself or dancing like a monkey in front of the camera, I would say go to Twitter. Go to Twitter and repost all of that on LinkedIn. Literally. Because LinkedIn and Twitter are platforms that reward you for writing. Okay. The best thing, in my opinion, about writing is how easy it is to repurpose. And repurpose is the act of taking that content that you have and just posting it in other platforms. You can turn a post, a Twitter post, something that you wrote, into a video that you read to the camera. You can turn a tweet that you wrote into a design for Instagram. You can turn that even into a screenshot and post that shit everywhere else. Pinterest, maybe. Who knows? You can even repost the freaking image in other social platforms, even on Facebook. You've seen it, all of these inspirational quotes.
Yeah.
You could do that. That's just a tweet. So that's why I suggest people to start on Twitter if they're beginning. It's so much easier. Post 5 tweets a day. It will take you 5 minutes to create. 5 minutes. If it takes you more than that, you're overthinking. It's Twitter, dude. Just don't post something that can get you canceled. That's the trick. Don't post dumb shit that will get you canceled. No racism.
Don't get too political.
Yeah, don't get too political. No things against people immutable features. If they're ugly, don't call people ugly. If they're like have big ear like me, don't call me like monkey or some shit like that. Don't do that. Don't target individuals and don't target the protected groups that everyone knows who they are, right? Don't talk badly about this, and you will never experience any. Well, you will reduce the chances of being canceled. That's the trick.
So let's say, all right. So now I am. My name is Timothy. I just lost my 9-to-5 job, or I quit my 9-to-5 job. I'm sick of it. I have
get a new job.
No, but let's say I want to start a Twitter account.
No. Get a new job. I'm not one of these people who will tell you, see, yes, you're going to make $1 million or $100,000 in the first month. No, motherfucker, get a job. And what you're going to do is on Twitter, hey guys, I just fucking lost my job.
But let's say I have zero. But if I have, I just opened, that's fine. Like I'm in line, get a new job.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I understand perfectly what you're saying.
Okay.
Hey guys, I just lost my job to 0 followers. Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're going to do, you're going to start posting the journey of getting a new job. And at the same time, you're going to be posting about the things that you did in your previous job. Let's say you were a web designer. You can start posting about web design and showing people how to create websites, or telling people, hey, if you have a business, the website is the number one thing you could create. Here's the process. If you have a startup and you want to redesign your website, here are the 10 things you need to ask to your next freelancers. And you start posting content like that while you are looking for a job. Don't bank on content creation or social media to make money overnight. It will not happen. Let me repeat again. It will not happen. You need to give yourself 6 to 12 months to make social media work for you. Anything less than that, and you're wasting your goddamn time for one reason. Every major decision in your life, like a career, like getting married, you need to think about it. It's usually a long time that you need to put into that.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that have gotten married after the first month? Few. Most of them is 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. So they gave themselves the permission to stay in a relationship for 6, 12, 24 months before getting married. Same thing with social media. It's a major decision. Why? Because you're showcasing your expertise and your stories online. It's a big decision. You're sticking your neck out. And the risk is getting it chopped by something dumb that you posted, or something that is not too factual because you made a mistake.
Yeah.
So 6 months, bare minimum, because it takes time to develop the habit of writing or creating content. It also takes time to build a following. Sometimes you get lucky. I know people that grow to 200,000 followers in 12 months. I also know people who have posted for 10 years and only have 10,000 followers. I know some of these people. So no, don't bank on social media to make money. Not at first. Get the fucking job and just tweet or post about that journey of growth and self-discovery and the skills that you possess at the moment.
Yeah, I love that point of view. That's so refreshing to hear, where a lot of people because they're trying to sell you something, they will give you advice that may be not in your best interests, versus sometimes you just got to tell people like straight up, hey, you should do this. And on the side, you should be doing A, B, C, D. Right.
Yes.
So that's refreshing to hear.
Yes.
Really.
I actually waited until I was making twice the money I was making in my 9-to-5 job to quit and make this full time, like create stuff and sell stuff on Twitter and social media. Afterwards, using social media to grow my agency. But I waited.
Yeah.
I waited because think about this. Imagine that you're making $1,000 online and in your job, you make $1,000, just for simplifying. If you quit your job, you're quitting to have your salary. Mm-hmm. Can you withstand 3, 4, 5, 6 months with half your salary? Most people can't.
Yeah.
I'm adding, of course, 1,000 plus 1,000, right? 1,000 online, 1,000 in your job.
Sure.
But if you're making twice the amount of money on social media than what you're making on your 9-to-5 job, once you quit your 9-to-5 job, you're only renouncing to 1/3 of your salary. When I say salary is when you're mixing it together. That's why I always tell people, wait until you have a solid income stream with social media before you quit. If you're making $10,000 a month on $10,000 a month consistently, have you done that for 3, 4, 5 months? Quit the fucking job.
Yeah.
Yes, and go like balls deep into your social media and personal brand and whatever you're doing in social media. But before that, I don't advise it unless you are like really young and your family pays for everything. That's a different case.
Or maybe if you're a really hot female, just for some reason
that helps.
Helps on Instagram.
It helps anywhere, man. Like if you're a beautiful person,
yeah,
the doors open up to you, bro.
It's very true. It is.
I wouldn't know.
Neither would I. But my wife, every time she goes to get coffee, like half the time, like, oh no, you can take it. I'm like, I've never gotten free coffee. I don't know what you're talking. Like, it's a different experience for both of us,
We get fined just because of how we look.
That's too good, man. I'm interested because for you right now, you play a role for a lot of people where they look at you for advice or for certain tips on certain things. I'm wondering, like, who were those people for you initially when you started out?
So when I started out, 2018, I had been following a bunch of people, political people, due to Trump, because I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, I spent 2 years watching Trump and some people on social media talking about him, started following him on Twitter just to see what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Started following a bunch of political people. These political people started retweeting interesting thoughts from other guys. And I'm like, oh, what's this? Who is this guy? Oh, Ed Lattimore. 2 times bestseller author.
Yeah.
This guy retweets another guy that talks about fitness. Alexander Juan Antonio Cortez, who is one of my clients and also business partners at the same time. It's an interesting relationship.
Okay.
He tweets about getting healthier. This guy retweets another guy. Ed Lattimore retweets another guy, Chris Johnson, who's talking about creating a 6-figure business. Then this guy retweets another guy that's talking about drop shipping. Then this guy retweets, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? I went from why is Trump winning to fuck, let me make money online. Due to Twitter.
Yeah.
So Alexander Cortez is one of these people that has influenced me the most. At Ajax_Cortez on Twitter. Ed Lattimore, also another client.
Yeah, I had him on the pod. He's great.
Yeah, at Ed Lattimore, great guy, smart as hell, man. His writing, it's like, oh, I wish I could write like that. Chris Johnson, you'll find, I don't know his handle because he had something with Twitter and he had to create a new account. Motherfucker's making like $1 million to $3 million a month.
Wow.
Incredible, man. I saw that journey. It was impressive, dude. Wow. It was incredible seeing that journey and how this guy went from like broke black man to multi-deca millionaire. Incredible.
What does he sell? Like, what's his main income stream?
So he started with like selling watches. Give me a second though. Okay, there it is.
Yeah, it's okay.
So he started selling watches. 17th Watches is his brand name. And then he started selling courses on how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he started making more money through courses and through his watch business. And he started amplifying his brand. He went from talking about hustling to talking about watches, to talking about how to create courses, to talking about how to grow your Twitter following, to talking about stocks and stuff like that, because he started investing in the real estate market. And then he launched a community platform, and he has like 40,000 subscribers paying him anything between $25 and $50 a month.
Wow.
That's $1 million, $2 million a month.
Yeah.
Because he has so many subscribers in that community. And watching that unfold in 3 years, that's what it took him, 3 years to go from like, okay, he was a business owner, 6-figure business owner, to becoming a deca millionaire, $10 million plus. That was impressive, dude. So these guys, I've connected with all of them, and all of them have inspired me to pursue a similar path. I'm not as far as they are, but eventually I'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great metaphor for success in general. And like we've said this or touched.
That's why the lone wolf it's bad advice.
It is.
It is.
You need a community.
Yeah, you need a community. And I found these people. I built connections with them, connected with them, learned from them. And I'm in this position because I was open enough to accept their advice.
Mm-hmm. You know, I can't even listen to the old podcast, but in the beginning, when I did the podcast, I've never been on air before. I've never spoken. Like, it's very different to speak if you're not live. Yeah. Wait, is this thing on? If you and I were to sit and just over a beer or wine and just chat, it's a completely different situation and cadence and rhythm and conversation than if we're live and we're trying to convey ideas and talk about certain things and topics. And in the beginning, I was awful. Not to say that I'm Joe Rogan now, but there has been a trajectory of improvement that has happened. And I can't even listen to the first ones. Like, I actually thought about like deleting them for a while because like they're so bad. But I was like, fuck it, let me just leave it. And it's a good reminder that where I was is very different than where I am. And where I am today is hopefully going to be very different than where I'm going to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It's a gradual growth and improvement.
And it goes back to what I said a while ago. Don't quit the job. Spend time building up your skills and doing the things before actually quitting the job. If you don't have the job, find a job first. And you can podcast in your spare time. I know this guy, Danny Miranda.
Yeah.
This guy went from like 0 to like 1 million plus downloads. And I don't know how much time, maybe a year or two or whatever, because he just kept inviting people to his podcast until one day, check this out. Here's the power of community. Danny on Twitter tagged Gary Vee and told Gary Vee, I would love to invite you to your podcast. You know what the community did? His followers, including myself. Gary Vee, yes, go. He got like 200 people saying, Gary Vee, go. And it got Gary Vee's attention. What happened next? Danny got into the podcast with Gary Vee. He built a beautiful story around that because he had met Gary Vee before. Gary Vee has spoken with his mom before. It's a crazy story. But Gary Vee maybe remembers that. I'm not sure. But he told his story to Gary Vee to make him like, wow. And Gary Vee was impressed, And now this motherfucker is inviting top-notch influencers. I'm talking about Danny.
Yeah.
Because of the community.
He's got social power.
Of course. And now who have I invited to my podcast? Gary Vee, this guy, James Altucher, and this person and whatever. So now he can use that as a pitch. I've interviewed all of these people. Why are you not part of my interviews?
Yeah.
It's much easier to do that. Well, not like that, but it's much easier once you have social proof. Once you start getting top dogs. I don't consider myself a top dog, by the way. I'm very self-conscious of where I stand. And if you have, great. I'm not sure. But imagine yourself interviewing, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Dude.
Now you can use that.
I think I would pass out. I'd be so nervous. Joe Rogan. That's like my, I think a lot of guys also like, it's kind of like their idol type, it will be very nerve wracking to interview him or be interviewed by him.
Absolutely. It's different. It's a different ball game when you're dealing with top dogs. I wouldn't know. I haven't dealt with them yet. So I'm just imagining, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that anyone that's trying to make some kind of income online, make money online, grow any kind of brand, including a podcast, just give yourself at least 6 months to see if you like it. If you like it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
The overnight success happens after 10 years. That's the reality. Of course, some people do it in less time. A lot of people do it in less time. But the majority of people, it takes a while for them to be known as overnight success. I have this friend. His name is Suvi. He has like 1 million followers right now on Twitter and other places, massive engagement. This guy went from 30,000 followers, 15,000 followers, something like that, to almost 1 million followers in like 3 years.
Yeah.
But what happened before that? He had spent 10 years of his life polishing his ideas, learning new things, being on malls, selling his CDs because he's like a rapper.
Yeah.
In the mall, selling those CDs. He estimated like he has met like 300,000 people like by selling stuff on like in real life in a mall.
IRL.
So all of that led to where he is right now, a bunch of followers. In fact, some of his followers always tell him like, dude, I remember the time I bought your CD when you were at the mall at this place, because of how many of them saw him at these places with his stand selling his CDs. 10 years of grinding before becoming the overnight success that he became, because it literally happened overnight on Twitter. He became instant overnight success.
That tweet where he's powerlifting.
Yeah.
Deadlift.
So, put in the work.
Yeah.
That's how you get lucky.
Yeah. That's such a good one. Put in the work. That's how you get lucky. I like that. It's true. I think also people get, they stop once they don't see the type of results that they think that they are going to see. You know what I mean? And because of that, they're like, oh, okay, I thought I was going to be hitting, tens of thousands of downloads or whatever, or views within 5 months, 6 months, 4 months. And then when that doesn't happen, it's like, okay, this isn't for me. Fuck this. It's too hard. Let me just stop. But you just, like you said, it's like, it's a 10-year overnight success. Like these things take time. You have to improve your product, your whatever it is. And all these things that they just take, it's a learning curve. It takes time. Algorithm takes time till it notices you. SEO things, all these things are just, nothing's overnight. I think that's the point here.
Absolutely. I have this friend. He's a fitness coach.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart, incredibly smart, Rain Man smart.
Oh, wow.
His name is Alex Feinberg. And I was complaining about something that had happened to me a while ago. I told him like, dude, I stopped selling for a while because when I launched the stuff, I wasn't making as much money as before. So I stopped selling because I don't want it to feel like I wasn't making sales. But by stopping to sell, I was selling. You see how stupid that is?
Yeah.
And he told me something that is like burnt into my brain, like it's like tattooed, whatever. He tells me, dude, Jose, the days that I don't make the money that I want to make, I have no one else to blame than myself. So what I do is the next day, I change the script to find out if the new script makes me more money. And if it does, I double down on that script. When that script starts to fail, because it will eventually fail, I create a new script. And then when I see my sales going up, I double down on that script. And I do that over and over and over again. And the reason I do that is due to the fact that most people quit at the first glance of failure. if you are one of these people that when failure is staring you right out your face and you just like scoot over, dude, and just like, I was watching this Fifth Element yesterday. You remember the Chris Tucker? You remember that?
Yeah.
Fear.
He's so good.
You do that to fear.
Yeah.
You just like, hey, go away, and you just try again. You'll eventually find someone that will say, hey, that's interesting. Money. Eventually. Have you gotten your first, like, hey, I'll pay you for the first promotion or whatever? Have you gotten one of those? Hey, like a brand deal or
no.
like a...
No.
Keep doing this. And eventually someone will literally just out of the blue approach you. Hey, dude, I listen to your podcast. I see that you're having 20,000 views, 100,000 views per podcast. We're going to pay you $10,000 for a sponsorship. It might not happen tomorrow. It might happen at the 500th episode. It might happen at the 1,000th episodes. Who knows? But if you keep doing it, eventually, possibly, it could happen.
I think that's a great note to end the podcast on. I love it. Jose, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your time.
Friend, thank you so much for making time for this. I really enjoyed the podcast. Now let me go back to Jose Normal. So guys, thank you so much. My name is Jose Rosado, Jose Ricardo Rosado. You can find me at Twitter, at Jose Rosado, on TikTok, Real Jose Rosado, on YouTube, /Jose Rosado, and Instagram, Jose Rosado HQ. Because for whatever reason, the at Jose Rosado guy didn't accept my $3,000. Like, hey,
you try to buy the...
No, he didn't. He said no. So I'm stuck with a bunch of at Jose Rosado /something because I was too late to the game. So, and my website, rosa.do. Yeah. Find me there, follow my stuff. And if you like it, share it.
Yeah. This is why you're a professional. Usually I have to tell people, hey, plug your thing, put the social media, tell what your next book is. You just already know. You're already plugging. You're a pro, dude.
Thank you. And if
guys,
you need
definitely
any help with monetizing this thing, let's make it.
All right. I love it, dude. Guys, I promise you won't regret following Jose. His stuff is awesome. I follow him on a majority of the social media platforms, and he's awesome everywhere. So give the guy a follow. And again, man, this was a hell of a lot of fun. I'd be happy to do it again. And thanks for your time today. It was awesome.
Thank you, bro. Have a great day.